All right, everybody. Good evening to all of you wonderful people. It is Wednesday, March 29th. I am so happy that all of you guys can join us here at the First Alert Desk. My name is Savannah Louie with Atlanta News First, and I'm excited to bring you 5 stories that we are covering right now, watching very closely, not just here in the metro Atlanta area, but all throughout the world. Actually, we do have a pretty big international story that's breaking that we are going to get to in just a minute. First, I do want to talk about something pretty important here that really concerns all of us who live here in Georgia. It is a very special day today. If you've been following along with some of our legislation, you know that today is Sine Die. That is the legislators' final day of this session. So here's what that means for you. This basically means that bills have until tonight, around midnight, to make it through both chambers. If they don't make it through, well, that means they have to wait until next year to try again. So this is a huge deal because a lot of that legislation that is going to be passed or not passed is going to impact maybe your family, your friends, your community. Now, the only thing that is legally required to pass tonight before the end of the session is the budget. Okay, we're talking about the state budget here. It's a $32 billion deal. Yeah, that's billion with a B. And it would include raises for teachers and law enforcement across the state. Now, a few notable things that have already passed tonight, or today rather, they include a ban on TikTok on state employee devices if they're owned by foreign adversaries. That includes China. Along with a bill that would create a panel that would give the state more oversight on district attorneys. Another piece of legislation that was passed as well includes Senate Bill 133 that requires courts to seek out resources for a child with mental and behavioral issues before even considering state custody. This is pretty interesting. It comes after an Atlanta News First investigation uncovered some children in foster care were being forced to live in offices for weeks, sometimes even months, and were exposed to abuse, drugs, and violence. Our Investigates reporter Sierra Cummings has been working tirelessly on that story for us for months now, and she's the one who really brought that issue to light. Lawmakers actually referenced her story, her work, as one of the reasons why they were looking at getting this bill passed. And that is something that I know Sierra was very excited about earlier today. Now, session is expected to reconvene tonight around 7:30, so about 30 minutes ago. They did take a little break around 6 for a dinner, those lawmakers. But as those lawmakers continue to discuss all sorts of new developments and hopes for passing or not passing some of those new laws that could impact you, we'll be right here to bring you all of those details. We're talking about on the Atlanta News First app, atlantanewsfirst.com, and then of course on air you can watch us at 9 and 10 on Peachtree TV along with WANF. That'll be at 11 o'clock. I know that's a lot going on right now, but a really exciting time for all of us here in Georgia as we look towards those new potential laws and new laws that are going to be passed or not, right? Okay, another story that is also considering new changes. This will impact most of you who have kids, who have students in the school system. I know the past couple of days have really been concerning for a lot of families out there as they think about where their kids go to school and the safety measures in place for, we hate to talk about it, but school shootings. Seems like they are becoming all too common. Well, today, Atlanta News First spoke with some leaders in different school systems around the metro to discuss safety procedures and new technology being discussed right now. Atlanta Public Schools is piloting new glass technology for its windows and doors to stop active shooters from breaking into their schools. So one of the things that the police chief for Atlanta Public Schools says is, the good thing is about this ballistic film is that you can't shoot in, but you can shoot out. So that's a pretty interesting piece of that technology. So Atlanta Public Schools is working with a company called Safe Haven Defense. It created a bullet-resistant film that can be fitted to any window or door. A spokesperson for that company tells Atlanta News First they have just been inundated with calls since Monday and that school shooting in Nashville where 6 people were shot and killed, including 3 children, all 9 years old. Now, also today, Atlanta Public Schools Chief of Police was joined by Gwinnett County Schools Chief of Police at a tutorial in Norcross. The two of them served as keynote speakers as part of a demonstration of a reinforced classroom door made by Code Red Guard That's what you're looking at right here. Neither districts currently have any of these doors installed, but it is something that is top of mind for anyone who's thinking about how to keep kids safe. In that room today, during that keynote speech, were other law enforcement officials, along with school leaders from all across the region. Now, another final school I want to talk about is Marietta City Schools. They are also pursuing a bullet-resistant glass or film for their schools. And according to a spokesperson for the district. That spokesperson also says the district is considering an open door monitoring system. Now, you'll remember, if you've been keeping a close eye on this, earlier this month, the governor of Georgia signed the state's budget, which allocates $50,000 to every single kindergarten through 12th grade public school in the state for security enhancements. Obviously, what happened in Nashville is a tragedy, and it seems like a lot of different leaders here have different ideas of how to keep our kids safe. We all agree that our children need to feel safe when they go to school. It's interesting to see some of the tactics that they are discussing. All right, earlier today, about 5 minutes ago, I teased that we do have a pretty big breaking international story here. This is about Pope Francis. We have learned that Pope Francis was hospitalized today with a respiratory infection after experiencing difficulty breathing over the past couple days. The Pope is going to remain in the Rome hospital for several days of treatment. That's according to the Vatican. The Pope is 86 years old. Remember, he had part of one lung removed as a young man, and he does not have COVID-19. So that's some good news here. But his hospitalization was the first since he spent 10 days in the hospital back in July 2021 to have part of his colon removed. So we're closely monitoring this situation. It's raised questions about his overall health and also the timing with this. His ability to celebrate the busy Holy Week events, those are set to begin this weekend with Palm Sunday. Like I said, keeping a very close eye on Pope Francis and any further developments. We're certainly wishing him a very quick recovery here. And as we learn more about his condition, we will continue to keep you updated with all of the very latest. All right, now I want to get to another story. We're bringing you back home for this one. This is out in Douglas County, following an officer-involved shooting earlier today that started with a school in lockdown. New Manchester High School was placed on lockdown during a Special Olympics event today, earlier this morning. According to a Douglas County school official, there were hundreds of special needs students outside at the time. Police secured the surrounding area and the neighborhood, allowing those students to stand in place. Now, when SROs arrived on scene, officials say a man started running and eventually led officers to a home on Ferncrest Place. The officers came in contact with the man, and there was a brief conversation before he pulled out a gun and began shooting, according to police. That man was then transported to an area hospital. No information yet on his condition. Officials haven't specified yet if he was a student. They haven't confirmed that this is the same person who was at the school involved in that shooting. There are a lot of questions about this situation, and the incident remains under investigation. We had Atlanta News First reporter and anchor Carly Barnett out there earlier today. She's getting all of the latest information for us right now, including some ring video of this incident. She's going to be sharing that with us later this evening. So hopefully you guys can tune into our newscast, because I know it was extremely compelling video. And I know if you're interested in watching, and if you're not, we typically do pause it before any of the major impact occurs, because I know that video can be pretty upsetting for a lot of us to watch. We're not going to force anyone to watch it, of course, but that is one thing that we are hoping to bring you more information about as the evening gets a little bit later tonight. All right, final story for tonight. Guys, we're going to leave it on a really exciting note. I think this is exciting, especially for any women out there. We're learning more about Atlanta companies that have been named the greatest workplaces for women. Now, at the top of the list, you can see a few of them here on your screen. We've got Piedmont Hospital, along with Delta. Emory, also on that list. So several Georgia companies. These are all part of Newsweek's Greatest Workplaces for Women list for this year. This list is based on a survey from tens of thousands of female employees, and they base it off of criteria like wages, work-life balance, and workforce diversity. There were about 600 companies on this list, and about 20 of them, headquartered in Georgia, made the cut. It's pretty interesting. 20 out of 600. You know, on one hand, you always think, oh man, there could be more. I'd love to see that number go up, especially being here, living in Georgia. We want to see more women attracted to the workforce in our state. But at the same time, I know there are other states that have larger companies. I know California, for example, Texas has a lot, New York. So all things considered, that's great news for Georgia. And I'm hoping that year over year, those numbers are only going to get higher and higher. All right, guys, what time is it? 8:10? Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It is always a pleasure to see you and to talk with you. Thank you, everybody, for saying good evening, by the way. I never look at our Facebook comments. I'm looking at them right now. Max, Jackie, Michael, good evening to all of you as well. Max, approving of the code red door system. Yeah, see, a lot of interesting takes on that system to keep our kids safe. All right, anyways, now I'm just jabbering. Guys, we got to show you this. Look how beautiful. Can you believe it's not completely dark out and it's past 8 o'clock? All right. We'll take away that graphic there. And now you get a real view of Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Planes getting ready to take off. We have our meteorologist, Patrick Pete, joining us now. Patrick, where do you think those folks are heading?
Let's see. Let's look at this directional path here. You know, I'm thinking somewhere warm and tropical. Let's go with Jamaica. Let's go with Jamaica.
All right.
Why not?
How about this? We both get off tonight around 11. You and me meet at the airport. That's going to be our plane right there taking off. We'll go to Jamaica with them. How about that?
But who's going to do our jobs tomorrow?
I'm going to go. I'll see you later, Patrick.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It was a nice day as far as the skies were concerned. A little cloudy, but all in all, not too bad. Temperatures were a little bit cooler than we all like. It was an element of chill all day. The good news is temperatures are going to be trending a little bit warmer as we head through the next couple of days. Unfortunately, we are going to be talking about rain chances building back into the forecast. So be prepared to need that umbrella as we're tracking rain and thunderstorms early Saturday morning. That's our first alert in the forecast. There may be some spotty showers in extreme North Georgia, north of the metro Friday evening, but I think the bulk of the rain moves in on Saturday, and I think it's out pretty quick, which is good news if you have any plans for the weekend, which I know you all do. So let's get it cranking. Our forecast for tomorrow is going to be sunny. This is going to be more sunny than we've seen the last couple of days. I think we're going to see very few high clouds, very few thin clouds. It's going to be a gorgeous day, and the winds are going to become more southeasterly as we head into the afternoon, and that's going to be just enough to warm those numbers up into some pretty nice territory. I think it'll be a little chilly in the morning, so don't forget that light jacket as you're stepping out of the door, but the afternoon numbers are nice. We're in the mid to upper 60s as you're finishing up your lunch break, and then the low 70s as the kids are getting out of school, and we're going to hang out near 73 for that evening drive. So nice enough actually to roll down that window. I'm a big fan of rolling down the window and letting that air hit me. So green light for that tomorrow. Meanwhile, that southerly flow is going to continue as we head into the overnight Friday, and that's going to keep us milder through the overnight. So I think we're going to be able to get by, at least most of us, without needing the jacket early Friday morning, because we're going to be in the low to mid 50s. Those numbers are going to rapidly climb into the upper 60s, low 70s by lunchtime, because those winds are going to be a bit breezy out ahead of that front. Meanwhile, some spotty showers move through portions of extreme North Georgia as we head into the afternoon. And where we do see breaks in the clouds, I do think some of you will get into the upper 70s Friday afternoon. I don't think it's going to be most of us, but I think some of us will get there. The rest of us hang out in the mid 70s. So another unseasonably warm day before we track rain moving in. Good evening, Max. What's up, Michael and Angelia? Good evening. But let's get to the rain chance, because we want to talk about that first alert. We want to make sure that you're prepared for the weekend, and we want to show you that risk. I'm going to show you something that you've seen before, which is going to be the Storm Prediction Center Outlook. Let me check YouTube real quick just to make sure there's no questions there, and there are no questions there. But what's up, puppy kid? Here's that Storm Prediction Center outlook. So the greatest chance for strong to severe storms Friday night into early Saturday morning is going to be to our north and west. That's the Mid-South. That's going to be folks out in Memphis and Little Rock dealing with those stronger storms. But that risk does extend into portions of North Georgia. Northwest Georgia has that level 1 out of 5 risk for strong to severe storms. And I'm talking to you folks that are in Fannin and Gordon County, as well as Floyd and Chattooga County, slicing through Gilmer as well. You're going to want to be dialed in, have that First Alert weather app downloaded so that you'll get some alerts as those strong storms roll through your area. Damaging winds are our primary concern, and heavy rain. You guys got a little bit of rain with our systems that moved through last weekend, but not as much as folks down to the south of you. I still think that there's about a 5% chance of some excessive rainfall out there, so your low level flooding is going to be a lower concern, but still one that exists. Here's how that system slides through the area. Starting with the 7 o'clock hour, it's already moved into those communities we just mentioned and is creeping a little bit closer towards Metro Atlanta. I do expect it to slide through the area through around late morning. By around 12 o'clock, we're drying out, and we're going to see some sunshine on the backside of that. Second half of your Saturday is going to be quite nice. Calling your Sunday partly cloudy, as clouds are going to be moving in and out of the region through parts of the day. And temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler, expecting us to top out near 70 degrees. I want to talk about the wind on Saturday, because as that line moves through, there are going to be some breezy winds along the line, and theoretically the winds are always a little gusty along any front that pushes through. But on the backside of the front, that pressure gradient is going to tighten, especially in the mountains. So extreme North Georgia, we're going to have the potential to see 40, 45 miles per hour wind gusts during the afternoon after that line passes. So not just with the line of rain and storms, but on the backside. And with rain coming down to maybe getting a half inch to an inch or so of rain, that means that on the backside with gusty winds, we could see some trees down. So don't be surprised if that is a little bit of an issue on the backside. Nonetheless, all of our region is going to have elevated winds throughout the day on Saturday. So if you're thinking about taking the kids to fly a kite or anything like that, just be prepared for those winds to be a bit aggressive. And then as we head into the rest of the weekend, your Sunday is going to be a bit solid. A little chilly in the morning when you're heading to church, but as you head into the afternoon, those numbers are going to climb back towards 70 degrees. And then we're warming as we head through the middle of next week. But we've been watching several disturbances that are going to be pulsing in our region, and that's going to at least give us a chance of some rain. A lot of times we say short waves online, but essentially it's just pulses of energy that are going to move through our area. And depending on how the pulse interacts with the environment, we could see some showers fire up, and we're fully expecting that to happen and folks to be picking up on some rain chances, not only Monday, but Tuesday into Wednesday. And, you know, we don't just stop at the 7-day. We look a little bit beyond, and it looks like we're going to have a pretty strong frontal system that's going to pass through sometime late next week. So we're fine-tuning that forecast as we extend out the 7-day forecast. So you stick with us this week. We're going to give you more information on that. But I am going to leave you with this 7-day forecast so that you can soak it all in, make your plans for tomorrow. Pretty nice afternoon. And then if you're making plans for the weekend, as long as you're not running in a marathon Saturday morning, or as long as you're not planning a coffee date on Saturday morning, I think you're going to be good, because the rest of the weekend is going to be pretty dry and pretty manageable. So I'm going to leave you, and I will see you all at 10 o'clock.